All right, I am Nicole Alvarez, and we are here with Young the Giants. This is our little like underground igloo. What do you think?
It's cozy.
It's cold.
How many
like
shows have you
Christmas.
played for How many acoustic Christmases? One?
This is our third.
This is third?
Third one, I think.
Yeah.
Second or third.
It's our
Yeah,
third.
we must like you or something. The last time I saw you guys, we were by the ocean, and I told you a story about the last time you played Acoustic Christmas. There was a guy next to me that was, his mushrooms hit him when Young the Giant was on. It was My Body, and he lost his mind. He's here again. Yeah, he's here again. So I don't know what he's doing, but so we are about to close out a decade, and I believe it was around 2009, 2010 that you became Young the Giant officially. Do you remember back then what was important to you as a band?
Whose parents would pay for our gas money? Yeah, I mean, we had spent so much time on the road already, and I think just kind of taking stock of this amazing opportunity to travel and to see like the first people who knew like the words to the music we were playing, and that realization really sinking in for the first time was amazing back then, and honestly it's still really a very powerful feeling at this point 10 years later. So
I always wonder when you're on stage, I don't know how much you guys get to see because I don't know how involved or engaged you are. Like some people close their eyes. Do you, when you look out, like is there anything that you look for in the audience that maybe that you want to take with you, or?
I'm not kidding. Sometimes I just have brain farts and I forget things.
Yeah.
Not too often. I don't need a teleprompter yet.
Yet.
But
Yet.
hopefully never. But sometimes I'll just kind of blank on a word and I see someone singing it. I'm like, thank you. You actually helped me remember
And
the lyrics.
but the energy exchange, I bet, does something for you.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, we grew up just playing, tiny clubs, and even if there was one person in the audience who you had a connection with, that was all you needed. So, to kind of zoom out of that and to be able to play for thousands of people is pretty surreal, and it's one of the only moments I think that all of us have where we're not really thinking about too much, where we can.
Do
just
you miss
be ourselves.
anything from like the I don't want to call it the old days. It was just a decade ago. But was it simpler back then? Is there anything that you miss before you kind of hit the point that you're at now?
I miss. I mean, being young. It's not that we're old, but being younger and stopping on tour in the van wherever we wanted to, and kind of. It felt more like an adventure back then, and I think we're like now trying to recreate that feeling in our touring and in our songwriting and how we work together. But
So would you say like spontaneity?
Spontaneity, definitely less scheduled, a little bit more just kind of like awestruck by everything, and now that it's more than just a job to us, but it's also as we get older, it's also we're finding ways to like kind of try to recreate those magic moments of like spontaneity that we had and still do have.
I get that. No, I mean, and I think that's true. Just as a human being, I guess some people call it chasing the dragon. Do you remember the last moment on stage that took your breath away, or the last city or venue or moment?
Hello.
Hello.
This summer we played the Forum here, and we headlined. So I guess filling up 10,000 seats in Los Angeles.
And it's the Forum.
Not that
It's the
garden
legendary Forum.
was great. It was stressful, but at the end of the night we had In and Out, and it kind of felt like old times. So
God, what a perfect way to punctuate the evening. I was reading an article about you guys, and the writer said that one of the things that you do best is that you tackle personal identity in your lyrics. Would you agree with that?
Maybe.
Yeah?
I mean, we've wanted for so long to tell our story and our narrative through our lens, and for all of us as people traveling in this world, everyone has that shifting, changing identity, especially now in 2019, almost 2020. And I'd like to think so. As we continue, there are different things that we latch onto thematically, but there's always this idea of evolution, of change, and we want to be able to continue to do that.
Are you already working on something else? Like, what can we expect next from Young the Giant? I feel like there's something, and you're looking to each other for approval. Is like how much I could know.
We're gonna put out music.
No.
Eventually.
Amazing. Eventually, but how long? Like there's people that they wait with bated breath for new music from their favorite bands. So like any little morsel of information would be great.
I mean, we've started writing for the new record, so we have a few. It always takes a while, like maybe like 10 songs or 10 ideas before we start to have an idea of where things are going to go. So we haven't quite reached that point yet. But we got a place together that we're trying to turn into a studio. So this idea that we can just have a location where like you just show up, and if you're feeling inspired in any way, you can just like lay it down. We don't have to go through all these other channels and go to another room or something. So having that at our disposal is something we're really excited about. But yeah, I mean, we're always writing on the road. When we get back, we take a little time off, and then that itch comes back pretty quickly. So we're
Did
writing.
you hear or see The Voice on Monday, or did you hear about the guy?
We heard about it.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
we saw
assuming
it,
you
yeah.
did.
Yes.
It was all over the news because his performance blew everybody away, and I guess he's battling some sickness that they spotlighted after, but he used that song to break free from the emotional crippling of it. So it was just cool to see somebody sing your song, like My Body of all songs, on The Voice. That was pretty badass.
It was pretty awesome. I saw he also did the crowd surfing bit that I did at the VMAs in 2011, like match cut style.
And
it was cool.
It's crazy because how many more people know that song now because it was on The Voice. It's just nuts. Last thing I want to ask you guys, as we close out the year, finish this sentence. The 10s were the decade of what? If you had to name this decade as we close it out, for you.
Growth?
I
mean, yeah.
Gratification.
That's 2 words.
So much instant gratification.
Oh, you mean for us individually, or as people, or in the general?
Whichever,
of the
like as
Zeitgeist of the decade.
yeah, whichever.
Low-level anxiety attacks.
Memes.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's
a
true.
decade of memes.
I do feel like people have more anxiety these days.
And that's why we go to memes, because you get
and the memes just
temporary
take us
breath
back
from
down.
the anxiety. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for being part of so many shows and of KROQ, and I always root for you. I think you're magical, as you know, and I can't wait to see another guy freak out to your songs on mushrooms in the audience.
Hope
But
so.
everybody,
Thank you.
Young the Giant, thank you so much. We are live at Acoustic Christmas.